Hello, welcome to We Have Issues. I'm Anthony.
I'm Stevie Wildcard.
And I'm Jensina.
And every week, Steve Wildcard and I get together and we do our best to overcome the various issues and obstacles that life throws our way. And we talk about what we're trying to make in the world. Recently, we've been working on issue 3 of our supernatural D&D inspired action comedy comic Deathless. Steven, how do you feel about it so far?
Ooh, I am failing left and right. However, I've been a busy boy, but yeah, I'm failing left and right. Still working on it.
I know we all know that Steven, you've been a huge failure. It's Tina. How do you feel about the progress we've been making on Deathless?
I am incredibly proud of both of you. Like big time.
All right, we're gonna take a cry break. We're just gonna take a cut to commercial.
Listen, my dad never said that.
So no, dude, I know. I've been like spiraling a bit with that stuff too, but that's kind of been our whole process. For those of you joining us for the first time, we are joined today by Steven's incredible, wonderful, talented, beautiful, perfect, very much his better half, me. And then we are also, in addition to me, joined by Tina, who happens to be his wife, his other wife. So
I like to keep her around.
Tina, you are one of my best friends and favorite people in the world, and I'm so glad to have you here. Thank you for accepting my invitation onto the show.
Thank you for extending it.
Of course. That's definitely how it happened. It's canon.
That's how it happened. That's how I
There was no group message started by, somebody else who was just, none of that happened. It was literally Anthony reached out.
I'm not Yoko.
She's not Yoko, everyone, but I would like to say, normally what we do in the show is we get together and we talk a little bit about like our project, and then we talk about like the things that got in the way, the issues that we've had, the disturbances in our force, and like normally we talk a little bit more about the comic and stuff right away, but I have to tell you guys a stupid story. It's so dumb. I have to share it with you because it's been eating me alive. I don't think it's the best story, but it happened to me, and it frustrated the crap out of me, and it was too long to explain on the internet, and I was like, someone needs to hear the freaking story because it happened. So I'll tell you, let me sit back and like submit it for the approval of the We Have Issues Society.
He wants us to sit right there. He's going to tell us the story of how he became the Prince of Bel-Air, but it doesn't have that good of an ending.
It doesn't. I don't.
Actually, it has the ending that happened a year or so ago, is what it seems like. The true Fresh Prince of Bel-Air ending that none of us want.
So I was busy. Okay, you know how it is. I was playing basketball, like shooting some hoops outside my school. No.
Let me guess, a couple of guys.
They were up to no good, Steven. They were up to no good. But no, there were other people making trouble in my neighborhood, Steven. It wasn't me, and it wasn't anyone playing they're playing basketball. They're doing their business. Steven, I was trying to have, I will say, the best day with Atlas, with my little guy. I was like, let's go for it. Let's go big. I texted you too. I was just like, we're gonna play laser tag. We're gonna go to the bowling alley where they have laser tag and arcade stuff. We're gonna do things. So I dropped as much money as I could afford to drop doing this thing. I was like, all right. And we played laser tag. We had so much fun. We played in the arcade. We won thousands of tickets, like so many tickets, and like we got so many. Like we got I was like hitting jackpots. He's hitting jackpots. We're having fun. We're like laughing, having the best time. We leave, and I was like, let's go get lunch. What do you want? He's like, Jason's Deli. And I was like, of course, buddy. And then we get Jason's Deli, and it was the best. And then, dude, when you get greedy, when you're like, this is already a good day.
You flew too close to the sun.
I flew too close to the sun, Steven, because I was like, I've been crafting these wings all day, baby. There's no chance of anything going wrong.
Nothing's going to ignite these bad boys.
Like Atlas and I are just in line, just going like quack, quack, quack. Like we're
flying V's. I mean,
there are only 2 of us. I don't know how we were pulling it off, but we were. It was
the imaginary 4-point is what you.
So, but I say to him, right? I remember as we're sitting there finishing our lunch. I remember, Steven. I was like, ooh. I have a gift card in my wallet that I specifically put in my wallet in case we happen to be on the road in the vicinity of a GameStop. I was like, I have a gift card for GameStop from Christmas that someone gave to him/me for him, And I was like, my buddy, would you like to go to GameStop and see what's on this card and spend whatever it is? And he's like, yeah, best Saturday ever. And he's like, yeah, like, I can't wait. He's all excited. And I was just like, freak yeah, like flying into the sun. Let's go. And like, you know, we're blasting music. We're going together. So we show up at GameStop, guys. We show up at GameStop. And you know what they do at GameStop? If you go to GameStop, they bother you like right away, like immediately. Someone is in your butt. It's like sand in the beach in your butt. You know what I mean? Like they won't get out of there. They're like, I'm a hermit crab. You are my shell. And it's really, it's not great. Most of the time, I do the thing where you like immediately, like, I'm good. Just look, and I like shoo them away. This time, I was like, you know what? I'll accept and retreat. Like I will receive the service that you're offering me in this moment. I took out my gift card and I said, I would like to know how much is on this gift card. And they said, oh, that's easy. And so she walks me to the front. I go with her. I hand her my gift card. She scans it. She goes, well, hang on. Let me ask my manager. I'm like, okay, you don't know how things work. That's fine. It's fine. We're having the best day ever. Best day ever. Nothing can stop us now. You know, and like we're singing our song. And the manager comes over and he goes, oh, yeah, there's $50 on there. And she goes, that's what I thought. There's $50 on there. And so I go, there's $50 on there. And he goes, there's $50 on there. I go, okay, thank you for letting me know that there's $50 in this card. And I take the card and I hold it in my hand like this, just aloft, like a torch, leading the way to the video games that we're definitely going to procure that cost about $50, you know? So,
roughly.
So I walk around, I'm like, buddy, whatever you want. It doesn't matter because like we have $50. I'll pay the difference for whatever thing, but like try to keep it around $50. You know, like let's have a free day at GameStop. So he finds this Bluey game that costs $40, and I was like, amazing, perfect. This is perfect. He just started getting into like Bluey. He's like, oh, it's so cute and like you know, it's just like sweet and wholesome and amazing. And he's like, I love this. Yeah, right. And he loves it, and he's like, oh, I can't wait to play this game. I was like, oh, perfect. Throw it. Like, let's get on that car, like get it on the counter. Let's get out of here. We put it on the counter. I was like, I'd like to pay with this gift card that I've been holding in my hand since you handed it back to me. And I slide it. And the guy at the counter says, okay, well, it took off the $25. You owe about 17. What? Yeah, he goes, you owe about 17.05. I was like, well, you said it costs about 47 with tax or whatever it came up to. There's $50 on here. And he goes, oh no, it only had 2501 on it. Yeah. And I was like, no. I was like, no. Nay, no. Excuse me. If we could all just travel back in time only so many minutes, not even that long ago, the words are still circling in the air above in the fan. Like if I put like a needle above, we'd hear your voice say $50. Like it would just like echo through the world because we scratched it into this freaking time and you said it so clearly and so often, both of you. And they looked at me and they were like, well, there's only 2501 on here, so I don't know what you want us to do. And I was like, no, is the thing. This is like now and I looked at him and I was like, okay, can you please go get that man I was talking to, the manager, because I like you probably remember. And so the girl says, yeah, it did say $50. And I go, yes, it did. You said specifically 50. Had you said 2501, I would have been like, okay, let's spend 2501. That's not what happened here. That's why I have Bluey, and that's why we're sitting here.
Not to mention, who gives someone a fresh gift card with 2501 on it?
Exactly. Okay, so like that was.
I'm upset.
Okay, be some sort of GameStop ploy.
Oh, it gets slightly worse, Steven. Let me like, and by slightly I mean like, Steven, the manager comes over, and he's like, yeah, it does say 2501. And he's like, that's weird. And I was like, yeah, it's especially weird because you told me specifically $50. And he's like, yeah, I don't know how I could mistake $50 if it's 2501. He's like, how could that? And then he says the thing that I was like, I felt like the most monkeying enlightened person in the world in this moment because I was like a lesser Anthony would explode in this moment. Like this is, I was like, had I not just like played laser tag with my son for the last hour.
If we were not having the best day
ever, I would make this your worst day. Is the thing. Like yeah, like if I wasn't trying so hard to make this little boy happy right now, I would be like flame, like Hades hair, like furious, because this man looks at my face and goes, "Are you sure you don't have another card on you?" Like, as if freaking gulp, as if to suggest that I did a switch where I was like, check this for $50. I'm gonna pull out my one that has half the amount on it to this whole switcheroo for what, $25? Like, what?
Okay, let's just use some logic here, right?
Yeah.
Assuming you have 2 GameStop cards, you're gonna pull a fast one on a GameStop employee, right?
Yeah.
You would know which card has 2501 and which card has what?
So what they're saying is they thought or what he was assuming or like suspicious of is that I checked a card that had $50 on it, and then I pulled out a different card that had less, so I could spend less money.
Who's carrying multiple GameStop gift cards?
No one. This is not.
You're a dying industry, bruh.
Yeah,
and I'm sad that you're a dying industry. Although this story is making me not as sad.
Exactly. So, and so he's like, okay, we're gonna have to call customer service. I was like, okay, please. I was like, this is literally the end of our day. It's fine. Yeah, I was like, we're not going anywhere. You know, we're going home after this to play Bluey, and we're gonna get it. So he's like, here, child, you know, and he hands the phone to like the teenager working with him, and he's just like, call the customer service, and he calls, and he's like, they get nothing done, and eventually he hands the phone back to the manager, who should have just taken it in the first place
to begin with.
And then he walks away to the back, and he comes back, and he's like, apparently what happened was the person who went to cash me out didn't dismiss the previous transaction that was on there, and the previous person wasn't charged properly, which means my gift card paid for the previous person's stuff.
So there was 50 on that.
There was, of course. My gift card had $50 on it. I ended up paying for someone's stuff. And then,
so when they were checking your gift card, someone checked out in between. That gift card for some reason was on.
Yeah.
That's
so that computer where they checked my gift card must have had an active transaction that was never dismissed or like, you know, or finished or completed or whatever. So they were like, yeah, it seems that part of your gift card went on this transaction and part was trying to go on another one. So we're gonna, so that's why it says 25. I was like, okay, so can I just leave with this video game, please? And they were like, and he's like, yeah, I'm just gonna have to promo it. I'm like, I am not concerned with your, you know, the language here. Just do whatever it is so I can have the game and leave. I don't care. And it was, but I eventually got the game and I walked away. And the funniest thing was like, Steven, before I walked into GameStop, I said, buddy, I really don't like going to GameStop. Like, I was like. And it was so funny because like it was one of those things where I was like saying it to myself. And I was like, I hate going to GameStop. And he's like, why? And I was like, it's just it's always something. And then as we left, I got to be like, that's why I don't like going to GameStop, buddy. And he's like, okay. And it was just, I get it. And it was just so funny. But like we got the thing we needed, and it was like, you know, it ended up being a good day. But I was just like, who put someone through that? You know, I was like, the funniest, like, I was so
excited. How do you accidentally use a gift card as a trade? Like, what? How did that even happen? How did it happen? Dude. And who's buying all these cheap games that only amount to like $22?
Dude, it was so frustrating. But that was just like, I mean, it was otherwise 24. But otherwise fantastic Saturday. You guys had a really interesting week going to New York, right?
Yes, it was awesome. We had a great time. The moment I stepped off of Penn Station, a lady hit on me right in front of Tina.
That's a true story.
That is a true story.
What did she say?
We literally weren't even like a block from Penn.
So I can't fathom why someone on the street, you know, Dina, when I told, you know, don't make it weird, they were like, oh, you sure you're gonna get pickpocketed or something? But like, I was just laughing at one of Jimmy's jokes, and like I feel like I had a real life Instagram filter on in that brief moment, because like I was literally laughing, full golden smile, and then I flipped my hair and the sun was hitting me, and she literally saw me like in my Super Saiyan state, and then
and I don't know if anybody knows this, but Steven is significantly taller than me.
Yeah.
And Jimmy also a little taller than me. So they're like sprinting ahead of me. I'm always like a good like 8 people behind them.
Mhm.
So they're like so far ahead of me, and I just see this
lady, just
Amazonian woman. She was beautiful, not gonna lie, but she was like tall, could absolutely beat my ass. And she just goes, "Hey, handsome," and she touched him
she grabbed my arm, and I
with
went,
her hand.
and I went.
I'm sorry,
But-
Tina. I belong to her now. There's nothing I can do about this. You know the rules in New York.
Our babies will end generations.
She's, I think she holds the Big Apple. She's the queen or whatever. I don't know how this works. Their rules are weird. It's not
But
Florida.
aside from that silly moment, the rest of the trip honestly was fantastic. We ate incredible food. I ate like lox and bagels every morning because I love, that's like one of my favorite breakfast items anyway. But
for those of you who don't know, Steven's talking specifically about like the metal locks they use on lockers in high school.
Yes, like the master lock, the
master locks. Yeah,
specifically.
Like he chews metal with those teeth. He doesn't even have like inhuman teeth. It's very weird. I don't know how
it's hard to do. And the key is to have them unlocked. And
you're right. And the keys are also, it's just like a garnish that you're not supposed to eat. He still enjoys that.
Sprinkle little keys on top.
Little keys on there.
We
it's like a lox bagel, extra keys.
Put a little smear of keys on it.
Smear of keys.
I like some.
Yeah, I'll have the lox bagel smear keys. Sir, I don't think that means what you think it means. Yeah, lox, like the master smith. Sir, lox is salmon. You don't smear keys on it? Sir, there's no smearing of keys in this establishment, nor in any establishment.
Not yet. Not with that attitude. In this economy, I'm starting this business.
So the first day we just kind of walked to New York City. We went to from Penn Station, we walked all the way to Central Park, got to see Central Park, took some awesome photos. Jimmy wanted us to walk back up through Times Square, so we did. We walked back up through Times Square, saw a naked cowboy, and got this awesome photo of him and Sonic duel of fates. But yeah, the first day was just basically that. And then when we got back, the real first day was not that. The real first day was Sunday, and we arrived into Jersey. Jimmy picked us up, and then we got shit-faced at his local Eagles club.
Like immediately. Yeah. Literally, like within 2 hours, we were like...
Yeah, I was seeing Steven's texts and stuff. I was like, oh, okay. He's in New York just having a time. He's going to become the king of New York City, and I can't wait.
I found like a drunken, incoherent video on my phone like a day or two later. I don't even remember taking it. And it was us convincing the camera that we were not drunk.
That's incredible. Oh my God.
So this watering hole that Jimmy took us to, he's a member of, it's the Eagles Club. We have him down here, but it's basically like just a cool vibe, like chill. It's cheaper because I'm sure it's like some sort of like brotherhood or like tax write-off situation.
Okay.
So the drink,
it's military, isn't it?
I don't, it might be military. I thought Moose, I think, is too, but no, Moose is a fraternity. I don't know. Either way, we got a bunch of cheap drinks, and I'm like, and then from there we're like, let's get some food, and we went to this. Well, first before we even drink, we had the awesome Spanish food. That's what set the tone, though. Those margaritas.
Yeah, Steven got wasty pants off like half a margarita,
and which is so weird. I don't know if it was like. It couldn't have been altitude. It's not like Jersey's that much. I mean, it's like they're humid and low too. They're right in the oceans right there. I don't know what it was, but that margarita was slapping. Maybe it was just like the flight and like being tired.
There is something to flying, like when you fly, alcohol hits you.
But we ate at this awesome such good food, and then we drank, and then we went to another place, and it was round 2 for food because we were like, we're drinking and eating. That's what we're doing. There are no kids, and we are just gonna have we're adults, So then we went to this other place, and then they had awesome burgers and fries, and then I think we went. Did we go back to the Eagles after that? Or do we?
No, I think we went back to gym. We were like passed out on the couch. Before 7.
Yeah. Then the following day was New York, but then the day after Tuesday Tuesday was crazy because Tuesday was going to be the night of Prize Fighter Inferno in Midtown. Is that what he called it?
No,
the Village. Calls it the Village. Yeah. So we had to take, to get to Prize Fighter later, we would have to take the train from Jersey into Penn Station, then the substation to that side of town. Anyways, Jimmy's like, we should go to Princeton, New Jersey. So we literally drove to Princeton in the morning. And dude, Princeton's really cool. It's a really cool college town. Like the downtown area, like the buildings are old. There's a lot of cool art and statues. But we had this running joke. Like it was so good. But like it might have been you had to be there, but I'm not sure. But this running joke that we didn't belong in Princeton because our blood comes from too close to like Lehigh. So like it was like this running gag, like protocol executed, Florida blood detected. No scholarships from said state have been administered this year. Like all this, like, and then there was like this running joke that they were like following us, like we got them. Like we went to this bookstore, right? Yeah, we went to this bookstore, and there was only one piece manga in the whole store, and I bought it, and Jimmy's like, they planted it there to make the track like where your movements are. It's the one book that you would buy. we got there for
identity, identification,
and then like
profiling purposes.
So anyways, we drive back, we relax for a little bit, and we're like, okay, let's head into the city. We'll go see Prize Fighter. Absolutely fantastic.
It was incredible. So incredible.
It's so weird to see like low vibe Coheed, but that's literally what the audience was. It's like, yeah, we're not going to be insane because it's chiller music, but it's like the same amount of love in the room. You know what I'm saying? And it was, it was great. And the venue, like, that's what made me like think like, man, like New York, like people were like you know how Florida venues are. No backpacks clears, like people are just walking in with backpacks. Everything's fine. Like you could just Andy, if I wanted to, I could have bum rushed that stage. Like that's there's nothing. Like it was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
So Prize Fighter was great. As we're leaving, I bought you. How
much was I, Steven? How much was I?
I got you the graphic novel for Prize Fighter Inferno, all the issues that I've gotten. So I have a graphic novel for you for the collected Prize Fighter story. So I got that from the show. After Prize Fighter, we're tired. It's been a long day. We've driven to Princeton, New Jersey, driven back, rode this. When you ride the train into New York City from Morristown, it's like an hour train ride.
Yeah.
But it's chill.
That's a long ride.
It's chill though. I can't explain it. Like you just don't, there's stops and you just kind of chat.
You don't really feel it.
No.
Yeah. There's a public transportation is pretty wild and awesome. And
and like the novelty of it and being in a new place, it kind of
but seeing people do this like this is what people do every day. And like I can see how like I couldn't just Jimmy could if he wanted to. He drove, but if we wanted to, we could have walked to the train, would have been a 5-minute walk.
Yeah. And then
arrived in New York City, walked in New York City, and like you can really just walk.
That's what that's what my aunt does. My aunt just get on the train, get a ride to New York City. It takes a little bit of a ride, and then same thing. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. But anyway, so we get back to Penn Station. We're heading back to Jersey. Morristown stop. We go to get off, and it did this thing where Jimmy was explaining like there's different levels because of how tall the train is and where you're at in it of getting off, like depending on how low like the departure area is, like in the ground area, whatever. So we missed it. We missed our stop, bro. After having that long day, we missed it.
Just didn't open.
So So thankfully, Morristown, the next stop is like 5 minutes away. So we Ubered back to the substation, but we got to bring it back to Princeton joke. We're like, I don't even know how that happened. Why didn't those doors close? It cuts to the conductor. Got a Princeton tattoo on his lip.
A Princeton tattoo on his lip. Like the doors didn't open because you don't have the fresh blood. I'm sorry, your blood's not pure enough.
Princeton won the day. But yeah, dude. So I think that was probably the best day because it was like Princeton was really cool. I got to have like ramen in Princeton, like a real ramen. Like it was so good.
I just ordered eggs.
Tina, the server comes out. And he's like, we're all ordering different ramen dishes, different broths, different things. He gets to Tina, and she's just like, "I'll have the gyoza and ramen egg." And he's like, he looked at her so confused, like,
"I just have an egg.
I just want like the marinated egg." Is like, no, I can't.
It was on the menu, undersides egg.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted.
And it's because people add additional eggs to their ramen bowls.
But
and
I didn't want that.
So
I'm not a ramen.
I'm just saying that's crazy. That's the first time he's ever heard that because honestly, the eggs are like the best part of the ramen because they're soy marinated eggs. Like,
and they were so good.
But yeah,
my egg was so good. I ordered another one.
Yes, and he looked at her again like, the hell's happening? No one orders just eggs.
There's no chance you were from Princeton. There's just let me see your blood work.
Like he got like as you go back to the kitchen, she just ordered an egg. Oh well, Princeton Protocol 101 says they're from Lehigh area. So
Lehigh, that makes sense. We'll bring her 2 eggs. She needs it for trying
They
time.
call that the elephant graveyard of Florida. So
oh man, that's
but yeah, so then honestly, both plane rides in were very turbulent, like landing, and it was first time I ever felt a little like queasy. Like I'm usually very fine with like any sort of mode of transportation, like. But yeah, but other than that, the whole trip was awesome. It was a blast. We had fun. I got to see New York City. I took awesome reference photos for Deathless issue 3 because there's gonna be actually the scene coming up with the trucks and all that. So I'm excited because I actually have my own like shots I chose like perspective wise.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome.
Also, he brought Jimmy his issues of Deathless.
Yes, and Jimmy's actually going to talk to some of his buddies because he has some buddies that may actually listen, Jimmy. I'm not brave enough to do it, but you need to go to Red Bank, Jersey, and you need to go to Kevin Smith's shop, and you need to tell him that listen, my best friend does this.
You go do this for us. Yeah.
Champion my cause.
Yeah. I mean, for anyone out there right now who wants to help champion our cause, like Levi from the Talking Tremors podcast is constantly saying the sweetest, kindest, most supportive things about us. Like it's guys, I show up whenever I can for their like live shows and like whatever they're doing. And I often don't want to say that I'm watching just to see, because every once in a while I'm just watching like as a friend and a fan and a supporter, and then they'll just like pop out our stuff and take the poster down and be like, these guys, like you have to watch these guys, and just start saying like not prompted, just completely like sincere, and I'm just like, I love you, Levi, how dare you be so sweet, and it's just like, but that kind of thing, there are people like that, and like maybe Jimmy will introduce our book to Kevin Smith or Walt Flanagan or whoever's working at the Jay and Silent Bob Secret Stash.
Runs faster than Walt Flanagan's dog.
Oh man. But did you guys have any more you wanted to say about the trip before you?
I did sneak in as many as I'm walking here as I could without getting punched in the face. I made sure no one was around me when I did it.
I love it.
I
like to imagine that, like, because when I went to New York, I got to experience someone smack the car and say, I'm walking here sincerely. And I like to imagine it was just someone else from Lehigh. Like, I like to imagine.
Princeton Protocol. That's exactly what it was. Princeton Protocol Force was not on their game that day.
It's just some other Lehigh just trash person, just like escaping the gator pits of Lehigh.
You know who says we're walking here? Floridians.
Dude, that's awesome. I'm so glad you guys had a good trip. Tina, did you have a great trip? Did you love it? Did Steven miss anything, or did he?
You didn't tell him about any of the altercations that you witnessed. He saw a fight in the airport.
Yeah, there was 2 gentlemen that got into a fight near the bathrooms at the airport as soon as we landed in Jersey. So it was a nice
Jersey. Okay.
Yeah, it was Jersey.
I don't know anything about Jersey except for everything from Kevin Smith.
All I know is that Jersey makes an awesome Master Smith and bagel. Anyways. But yeah, there was an altercation there, and then there was another fight when we were leaving the show. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah. But I don't know if it was a fight or if it was just people being loud.
Oh no, that was a fight.
Oh, it was?
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, damn.
100%.
That stinks. Yeah, just people just fighting.
See, I completely like became a New Yorker. Like I just minded my business and kept walking because, like, listen, man, like, just mind your business unless someone's getting hurt.
Jimmy said that Steven looked like he belongs in New York. Like he looked like he was from Brooklyn. He does. I was like a Brooklyn boy. Could have been a Brooklyn artist.
I could see it.
My mama had to birth me in Cape Coral. Ain't no one cool come from Cape Coral.
Yeah, I do, dude. Like, I guess okay. What's a good segue? Well, speaking of altercations and weirdness and awkwardness, so guys, this week I've had 2 weird situations where I felt like people were saying things about me that.
What are their names? Where do they live?
But Tina, okay. So I'll tell you. Let me tell you because these are very quick. So the first one happened on. Do you know that anonymous app? Where people can ask you questions or like.
Yeah, bro. First off, I just want to say not even just this most recent time. I'm not sure if I saw the most recent ones, but every time I see you post those, man, you get so many heinous questions. Like
I do. I get like people ask me really personal things, and like some of them I understand, like, and I understand, like I get it. Anonymity like makes people brave, and like just kind of you don't have to be considerate if you're anonymous. It doesn't matter because there are no consequences, with the exception of what you're making other people feel, which is a consequence. And if you don't, just people are inconsiderate, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, it's really weird though. Like I would get these very personal questions, and then some things that are like weighted, like like weighted judgments on things. So one of them said, as a longtime observer, it often seems like you seek out minor issues to use them as an excuse to avoid serious relationships. Do you see your part of your personality as the breakup guy? Now, I was thinking about this and I was like, anyone who's been a longtime observer of me would know that like I've only had a few relationships, like actual relationships. Like I've tried dating, like on and off a couple of times, but like the relationships I've like my last relationship, like I was with Amy for like a year and we lived together. Like we were, and then like what happened there was a sincere weird incompatibility. And I was like, how do you, so I was like, I don't know what I don't know where people get off, making
prior to that, like legitimately every single one, like all of your other relationships were like 6 to 7 year relationships.
Exactly. Like, and I literally, because of this, I wrote down like all of my relationships, and I was like, the one thing I did notice, I was like, I've had like some significant other like almost every year at least, but they were, like you said, 6 and 7 year relationship. Like I was with one person for like 6 years, I was with the other person for like 7 years, and then I was like, I kind of dated for a while after Atlas's mom, but and like hopeful but not really finding anyone that I to be with. And then like what would happen in those relationships were literally like sincere incompatibilities that you find with people. Like, it's like the judgment that I read from that is like someone who doesn't recognize that like not any two people are made to be together. Like it's like you can get along with people and have like fun times and enjoy your time. And there are a lot of situations in which you have to or should and can compromise and get over certain things and stuff. But there are also going to be some relationships that like they're just things that you don't see eye to eye with, and that's just going to happen, and it definitely has happened for me a couple times. And I think unfortunately, like, and it's weird because as I get older and I realize like, and I'm guilty of this as well, but people of our age are often kind of like stuck in a sort of like recovery mode from certain traumas, and not like, I'm not talking about like sincere abuse or anything. I'm talking about just like the prickling of relationships over time, like what led to them being single now. Sometimes they see those moments reflected in other people that might not necessarily be there, so it creates this weird tension, And I was like, and that is something you can get over and compromise through and figure out and heal together, but not everyone's able or willing to do that stuff, So like I've had those conversations with people, and like the person I lived with kind of had that situation where like things would remind her of a previous relationship, and then it felt like a lot like kind of like weird projection, and I was like, how do we talk through this? And then it like kind of evolved to like, you guys know, like she wanted us to spend like holidays with her ex and her ex's family, and I was like, that's not something I'm interested in. And that's it was, we couldn't talk through that, and I was like, I'm not going to compromise on that. Like, this is important to me.
You both basically hit an impasse. And
so then like, as someone who's experienced those unfortunate situations where it's like, how else do you, as an older, as an adult person who's single, how else do you find your person? Or how it's just like anything you're creating or working toward trying to find some beauty in the freaking world. Like, if you're telling me I'm not allowed to like stumble when things are, like tactile, with like, when there's freaking quicksand, I can't try to like avoid it or, shake it off my foot. If you're telling me I can't do any of that because that's like, what did they say? I'm seeking out minor issues. I'm like, no, I'm just recognizing when there are like hurdles that can't be overcome, and I'm taking a different path. That's what
as opposed to letting the line play out and then
exactly
having the same ending within 3 years or
exactly.
whatever.
And yeah, and I understand like that, and I think that's partially like what I was talking about before about like how we kind of become stuck or like defined by like particular traumas and like things that happen to us, and we kind of project it on other people. Because I think I understand, like, dude, I'm someone like I've been cheated on and stuff, and I know, yeah, if I saw someone who was going through similar things, or like if I met a woman who was like in a relationship who was like, my fiance, we just do the same thing every day, or like, she kind of had those complaints or something, I would want her to behave. I'd be like, oh no, I don't want to flirt with you or what, like I would, I guess I'm trying to say is like, when you experience certain bad things, you try to help other people you assume are going through those things course correct, and they're not always going through the thing that you went through,
yeah,
so
because you're projecting what
you're projecting, and that's all.
You see something and you like, oh, I am like this, I associate with, and then you
yeah,
assume all details are attached to that,
yes, yeah, that's all it is. And I think, yeah, I think what I was trying to say is just like, sometimes people see you walking in a particular path and they're like, oh, I've been on that road, but it's like, no, it's like every town has an Elm Street. They don't all have the same monster, it's like sometimes it's different. You're like, I appreciate the intention there, like what that person, although I think it was kind of a little heartless or like inconsiderate of, me, but like what they're trying to say is like, hey, are you like, are you sure you're not the, looking for the, are you not?
I think that person also maybe doesn't know you well enough or take into consideration that you are a very gifted communicator. And when you see an issue, you tend to communicate about it. And I think that just over time, you're able to recognize, okay, here I am bringing this issue and I'm not receiving like that same level of communication. It's just being able to recognize patterns.
Yeah, and that's totally true. And I and I dude, and I think what happens for me is when I have those moments, and then I start to spiral through, and I don't want to use like, I'm trying to think of like the terms to be like as like kind to other people as possible, but like when you recognize those patterns and you try to communicate them with people and they're not as receptive as you want them to be of those that conflict, and it's like, okay, well, obviously there's an issue. So if I'm misstating or if I'm not communicating this clearly enough, I still think you and I need to navigate whatever this tension is together. Like we need to walk through this Elm Street and figure out why I feel like there are claws on my back right now because it's weird. So it's like, I'm just trying to navigate the discomfort that I'm feeling the way I would hope other people would navigate their discomfort with me as to alleviate it, right? Like that's what we want to do. I'll tell you, I was in one relationship where I'll tell you, while we, like hanging out and playing with the kids and doing all this stuff, she kind of just disappeared and like ran upstairs, and I noticed, and I was like, that was weird. Like, does she have to go to the bathroom? And I waited a minute, and then I ran upstairs and she was crying, and I was just like, are you okay? And she's just like, and she communicated, she's like, oh, it just, I felt like, I had a lot going on, with like cooking dinner after work. And I was like, oh, I'll cook dinner. I was like, I'll do, like, how can I help? What can I do? I was just playing with the kids because that's, what we do right now. That's what we're doing today, and she was just like, oh, I didn't want to make it this whole thing. But for me, I was like, well, running upstairs and avoiding the relief or like the communication of like what would help you through this in some way. If your cup's already flowing over with like sadness or like you're just overwhelmed, I'd like to alleviate that a little bit if possible. If I'm at all, part of the problem, then help me know that so I can help. But it was just one of those things where she told me then that like she was in a previous relationship where whenever she would feel overwhelmed or ask someone to help, they would get upset or, and it would just like spiral and it would snowball. And because of that, she was kind of conditioned to no longer ask for help and instead just kind of like sponge it up and then go upstairs and squeeze a bit, and just like, but I'm not that person. You don't have to bottle it up and sponge it, so it's like getting over those things and talking through those things and like reconditioning that level of trauma and just like relationship struggle is hard, and it doesn't always work out. It's not always going to work for everyone, and it's I'm just a person. I'm trying my best, and I'm sure I have my own issues that I squeeze out. Yeah. But I think it's so strange and surreal to have people, like say things like that to you and be like, hey, I'm gonna judge you and assume these things of you. And I'm just like, I'm just a person trying my best, like I don't know what the hell.
Who has a son that he has to protect and has like that's something that like I am so ill-equipped when it comes to these types of thoughts because I'm legit with Tina and Tina is the only that's it. So I have nothing to like draw from, nothing to compare to. But I just if something happened to Tina, and I'm assuming
you
it's
and I
death because that's
together.
really the only way this is
married.
This is ending.
Run away together. We'd start an ostrich colony. I haven't thought of this, but I'm just saying I know exactly where we'd stay. I plotted it out. I know how much our land would be. Chris,
so just so we're clear, you have plotted life after my death. Just
possibly even your death at this point.
I mean, I was just gonna say, Tina, there would be no true life after your death. We would just be mourning, just forever happily in our ostrich colony together. No.
But I think what I'm getting at is like if I had to move on at from some tragic event years later, I'm 60. She passed when I was 40. It took me years to get over this.
This is so
I loved her so much.
This is such a Himian moment. This is such a How I Met Your Mother. It's so I can
me. You're gonna murder. No, but if
you killed me off,
I imagine I would definitely reprogram who I was from there because first off, just being in this like one long powerful relationship, I'd have a hard time probably even like mentally being able to measure someone up. Not their fault, but I would have a really hard time of like, how are you going to replace that many years of inside jokes and shared memories? This is impossible. But then beyond that, like, I don't know. Like, I think I would be more critical because, like, I've grown with Tina. So, like, we've known each other at our weakest, at our strongest. So, like, we've grown together in the sense that when those issues or things have come up, even if we didn't communicate well, we learned to communicate well together from there. And, like, so, like, I would probably be as you're not even critical, but I would probably be as critical as you or as guarded because I would have two girls. I would, I'm a father outside of this situation. Yeah. Like I completely understand where you are. And as your best, I mean, granted, I am your best friend and my words are probably, not the, people.
They're the only ones that matter. We know this.
They don't care, but they are the only ones.
That's why we invited Tina.
I know you. But, like that's not what I see in you. You genuinely give people the best shake that they can, you try your best to find what's what if I'm probably wrong, but if I'm not situation like, and I disagree. I don't think
I was gonna, I was going to say
you're guarded, but I think you're guarded every time. As guarded as you are is completely reasonable. And
yeah, I think you're still very open.
Yeah, you're very open with what you've been through. And I mean, you freaking made a comic about it. Like Jesus Christ.
I know, dude. It's so funny because occasionally, like, I will get like I'll get Facebook memories from like one of the big communication issues that I had with someone, and I'm just like, like I posted a thing where I'm just like, it's just me saying like, hey, here's a device that literally shows exactly how I'm feeling and what I'm thinking. And people are like, yeah, but what's really on your mind? Like, okay.
This literally showed you all of it, buddy.
I was like, here it is. But okay. But it's just so weird because like I know I've issued, and like one of I'll tell you is like I think I did kind of like overcorrect for a while dating, like while trying to just like be open to experiences and stuff. I think and like like I would like match with people who I'm like, I literally have nothing in common with this person. Like, why am I matching with this person? It's just like a mutual attraction. Then like beyond that, what are we gonna do? Like what do you talk about? Like how does this work? And I did that for a little bit, and I was just like, I don't care. And then it just that kind of fades away because I'm like, I need people who can like enjoy the nonsense that I live and bring to the table. Like I want to be able to tell silly like GameStop stories and like get excited about how ridiculous things are, and like have fun with people. And not everyone is receptive to that, and that's fine. And that's not a little thing that they don't like about me. It's just a incompatibility as people. It's not every like not every not every musical instrument is going to fit in every song. Not every note is going to work in every melody.
I think the same works with friendships too, though. I mean, you meet people and it's like they're nice enough and I don't mind their company, but like you're not my best friend. I'm not going to call you. I would be fine if I never saw you again. Not that I wish ill on you or anything like that, but like
Tina dropping some pain. I mean, it's true pain.
I mean, it's true though.
It's true though. Well, I mean,
I'm nice, but I ain't friendly.
I think the key is to find someone who thinks they are the funniest person ever.
I'm sorry, you said key, and I just started salivating. I was like,
I know that smear of key gets me going every time. Smear.
But yeah, dude. So like, I had that, and then I also had
also called putting a little jingle jangle on it.
So then, Steven, then I had now you know how I am as far as like supernatural, like unknowable weirdness, is I love to be fascinated by the unknowable things in the world. I do. Like I love it. I love religion and like philosophy. I love that stuff. It's fun. I even like weird, silly occult stuff. Just like like in the abstract. I like the ideas of it and like thinking about ghosts and thinking about those. I love it. I love like coming up with like hypothetical just like models of like why it could exist or what it is and how it works. Now, I have trouble with sometimes people kind of like bring too much like pseudoscience into my fun like paranormal stuff.
You've taken this a little bit too serious for my liking, and I need you to dial it back because your serious isn't right. If your serious was a little bit more accurate,
and I think that's the problem is I'm like, you can't actually confirm the things that you have this like this strong confidence in. And it's like it's a faith that I can appreciate, but I can't share in that particular thing, So it's like, and I think what often happens is like, it kind of steals the joys out of it, So like for instance, things like astrology or like when people it's like a spectrum of experience, right? Like if people are like, oh my gosh, you're also an earth sign or whatever and they have their like fun thing, but then people are like, tell me your exact date of birth and I'm going to tell you whether or not you're going to get murdered on a Tuesday. And I'm like, okay, I guess. What? like by you? Like, are you like, you only murder Capricorn?
You're the seer. Like, you're the seer of me.
Yeah. So
you were birthed to let me know when I would end.
So it's just like, but I think it's like something about the specificity, like I think it scares me because there's no room for conversation. It's like whenever someone knows something for sure, and it's like, okay, well now you're trying to be the teacher of this thing, and there's not a conversation to be had. There's a lecture to be given, So and it's like I want to have a conversation and like dance the weird dance of unknowables because like that's what we're doing here. Like what the like what are you gonna do? So that being said, in my ridiculous interest in these sort of things, someone posted something on Instagram. And it was like about tarot. And I was like, I know very little about tarot. And I was like, I do know that the cards have various abstract meanings. Like each card has basically two meanings, which seems a little suspicious and convenient, right? For my liking.
Force field.
So I was like, okay, I know the cards have meanings. I know that like to an extent, the different cards kind of tell a story, like there's like a fool card, it's kind of like the hero's journey. Like he's going on a quest and like pulling the tarot cards can be a thing that shows you where you are in your journey, you know? It's like, or at least supposedly, you know? So I was like, all right, I'm doing this weird, like, here I am, like, trying my best to be on a journey. I'm trying to be like, I'm gonna be a successful, you know, like, comic book writer and movie maker with my best friend. We're gonna have an ostrich colony.
Yes.
I feel like what?
She said,
hell yes.
She's like Big Daddy, the old man in the courtroom.
That's right. But I was like, I feel like I know where we are, like, in our respective, like, hero's journey. But I'm curious. I want to know, like, what, like, a tarot person would say, right? So I asked. I was like, hey, I understand you're like a whole person who's like busy and stuff, but like, if you have time.
I have a question.
Okay.
This might be stupid, I don't know, but is that the same as like a psychic? Is that like Miss Cleo? Like,
Okay, it's very similar, and it depends on who's doing it, is the thing. And that, like, okay, that's like the spectrum of it, right? So, like, actually, hang on 1 second. Watch this. Okay.
I love him.
Okay, watch this. So I have this tarot deck, right? And I'll tell you, okay, I have this tarot deck, and I'll tell you, I bought this as like a joke gift for someone and never gave it to him. So now I just have a tarot deck. But here, I'll tell you, Tina, ask me a question about your life.
Am I awesome?
All right, ready? Oh, you got the High Priestess. The High Priestess
means you're awesome.
It 100% means you're awesome.
You're like a queen of awesome is basically what the tarot.
Well, you heard it here first, folks.
Tarot confirmed.
Tarot confirms I am awesome.
So, okay. So the High Priestess is all about recognizing and appreciating your feminine power and like attuning with that strength in yourself. And I think that you've already done that. You've achieved that level of greatness, that you know this, even if it comes across sometimes as like you're attempting to facilitate that growth, like you're faking it till you're making it, but you've already made it. Whether or not you want to like appreciate that in yourself, everyone else sees it, and it's true. And that's what your tarot says.
You just read that shit.
So okay, now I don't know anything about tarot. I just made that up because I like stories, and I don't know. I saw it.
I bought it,
and you bought it. It feels good.
I mean, she used to literally say "fake it till you make it" when she was like starting off doing hair.
Oh yeah, doing hair is so hard when you first start. 100%. You have to pretend to know what you're doing, otherwise everyone will know that you don't.
So, but like, if let's just say, like, if you weren't awesome, or like if you were going through some trouble or something, I could say like, oh, the High Priestess is showing your potential for being this thing. I could do this thing. If I knew less about you, I might struggle with finding how to
essentially the card is like a prompt.
It's a prompt.
So like, here's the card, and then it's going to prompt me to say something based on what you just said.
Yes. Well, the card is basically an opportunity to recognize a part of a path. And almost every card, if not probably every card, could be addressed to anyone if you know something about their situation. So if they ask you a question, like if you can find a way to make the card fit their situation, because we're all going through some journey. We're going through a journey of life. That's what this is. So if the cards all represent,
you just meet the guys like, so you're going through. I'm not going through any journey. I am floating, and I have no intentions on ever picking up the sword. I will not die for anyone or anything. I will live my life of mediocrity.
You're going. You got this. Don't worry. But dude, so this is what happened to me, okay? So I say this, and all full disclosure, I was not sober when this happened. This was over the weekend. I was like, I don't have to wake up early. I'm gonna have some drinks and just like watch some TV. And that's what I did. I was just hanging out and drinking, and I like messaged, and I was like, hey, if you have time to do this, do it. Please, and they did. And they were like, hey, yeah, I'll do that. No big deal. I was like, sweet. And I will say, to their credit, super kind, really giving and generous of their time. But Steven and Tina, they pulled 3 cards for me, and the question I asked them was, what more can I do to help our comic books and stuff become as successful as we'd like them to be? Like, what more can I do? And the second card they pulled, they were like, I want you to know this one's really important. It shows it's all about accountability. You're not, like, clearly you're not being accountable enough, and you need and I was like, look, I'm not saying I'm like a doctor of self-awareness or anything, but I could not be more accountable and like more frustrated with this answer right now. Because I was like,
there is a 182 episode podcast.
I was like, I literally
an accountability.
Like, it's
accountability.
That's Daniel's term for
no, it's South Park's term for our term that Daniel stole.
Daniel is not original.
I love Daniel so much.
I love Daniel to death.
For those of you who don't know, go check out the Don't Make It Weird podcast. They do our podcast, but slightly different and just as
they were smart, and they're like, hey, we're gonna do their podcast as a segment. And like, yeah, that's probably a better thing to do.
our podcast is a loose series of segment. We are a pastiche. We're a whole Frankenstein is what we are. But yeah, so one of the things she said was basically what she said was like, oh, it looks like you need a mentor, and you need to be more accountable, but it's all gonna work out. And I was like,
well, I was honestly, Anthony, in a positive world, that doesn't sound great, but in a positive world,
yeah,
it's all gonna work out, man.
It's all gonna work out, man. It's good. But you know what's funny? Now I'll tell you,
mentor.
I love you, Tina. And you what's funny about it though is like I looked up those cards and like their meanings, and hilariously, as I kind of predicted, each card has like a spectrum of meanings, right? And they just gave me the meaning that they assumed would fit me, but there were other meanings that I was like,
there was better meanings there.
There really were. And I was, but the thing is, you have to like, because it is in a sense cold reading storytelling, you know, it's like you have to know your audience, and if they don't know me and they just know that I'm someone who wants to do better, they can assume it's pretty prevalent in the world that people just aren't very accountable, or they're lazy, or they're whatever it is. I happen to not have that particular issue. I have a lot of other issues. There's a whole podcast about but like that's not it. Like if anything, I'm just like anyway, but it was funny though, because I was like, oh, I can see how this this translation of that thing that of what those cards could have said would have made more sense, but it's not what she was saying. And what Stephen, what made it funnier is now Tina, what you said when you asked about if it's similar or the same as psychics, right? And I was like, oh, it's a spectrum, right? And like what I did, I wouldn't say like, oh, it was a psychic. I wouldn't tell you that there was a spirit speaking through me, because I don't know that. Maybe there's something puppeteering me, and I was like, I'm going to tell Tina exactly what she needs to hear in this moment. I don't know. I'm not God, but what they said was your spirit guide is saying that you need to be more accountable. And I was like, my spirit, I was like, if I have a spirit guide, why aren't they guiding me to be more accountable if I wasn't? First of all, first thing, why are they telling
failing as a guide?
Why are they talking to you and not me?
Exactly. Secondly, if this is a spirit guide who's telling you to tell me to be more accountable, they have not been watching me at all. What are they looking at? What is this guide checking out? Like,
why don't you tell that spirit guide? I think that spirit guide needs a tarot reading. I think he's the one that hasn't been accountable.
I think that's exactly. I think that spirit guide needs to watch.
Spirit guide has been taking time off.
Spirit guide gets the notes. Wait. He's written. He's already on
issue.
He's
writing issue 4. He's writing
shit. We owe him a lot of stuff right now. He has been doing it all.
Shuffle the deck.
Shuffle the damn deck. Kill his best friend.
but dude,
from into darkness.
Dude, but it's just like it's been so interesting, and like I'll tell you though, what's funny about that is like I do go through these like bouts of just like kind of different, like just depression and just like frustration, and kind of like I get down on myself a little bit, but much like someone can't tell me that like tacos aren't delicious, and like you can't tell me that like I don't love pizza.
Soft taco. I don't.
And that like and like you can't like just in the same way that someone can't tell me that like I don't love anything, like you can't tell me that I'm any of those things, like the person who was on the anonymous thing. I was like, you don't know me, like, and you are very wrong. And it's funny because it just kind of like it kind of reassures me or reaffirms like how I feel about myself in a way. And it makes me laugh because then I get this other person who I'm like, you're also willing to define people that you don't know in a way that that you shouldn't, and I find so interesting. And it's kind of indicative, or like of like a huge problem we have in the world and society in general. Is just like people feeling that they can specifically read strangers and tell them who they are without knowing anything about them, and then feel confident enough to say it to them, with the veil of anonymity, but like it's just so funny that people are willing to do that. But I feel so proud of myself for just kind of like shrugging both off, like I feel really happy, like knowing like I'm not that. I'm a lot of things, and I'm not great all the time. I'm trying. I'm going to be better. But I'm not those things. I don't have those issues. And it's so and it does frustrate me a little bit that like with 182 episodes of a thing, and like writing books, and like just posting as much as I do on social media, anyone can still see that. But the truth is, perspective feels like reality, but it isn't, like people can try to like, try to make you out to be whatever they want you to be, but you're not that thing. It's, they can't really change what's on my canvas. They have to change where they're standing in order to see it appropriately, and that's on them. But anyway, I wanted
Anthony is stepping into his let them era.
That's right. That's right, Tina. So with that, I would say, I'm gonna be amazing, Tina. I'm gonna be like, I don't need anyone to tell me who I am. I know who I am. And I am
that about you.
Thank you. And that being said, I am going to do I'm gonna take a step back, because I have enough confidence to sit back for a second. I'm gonna let Steven do something that normally I take the driver's seat on. So this time, Steven, I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna hit you with a sweet Pitches Get Stitchy.
Are you ready? So, a gentleman by the name of Gary is just walking through his apartment complex when he suddenly notices that he has like this ability to like start lifting objects off the ground, and he's puzzled. And then as he's walking further through his complex, he's just looking around, and then someone's about to get hit by a car, and he stops the car with his mind. Okay. Unfortunately for Gary, well, no. So I'm not as good at Anthony as this is at this, people. Just putting it out there.
I think you're doing great, babe.
Thanks, babe.
It's amazing. Best.
You're the Shawnee to my Claudio. But anyways, so Gary like walks outside of his apartment building and does his best to use those powers outside of this, and finds out that he cannot. Okay. So puzzled, Gary heads back to his complex, and he's just like, what's going on? Like, I can literally do anything. It's like I have the power of, see, I suck at this, but it's like I'm not doing well.
You got it. You're doing amazing.
So Gary's like, it's like these powers only work, I have the powers of a god, but they only work within the four corners of this apartment complex. So coming this summer, God Complex.
I love it so much. I love it so much. When you told me that, I was like, oh yes, I can't wait for you to do this on this
Anthony
show.
Makes it look so easy, like, because like basically you just want to get to the pun. With the Pitches Get Stitches, like I came up with a pretty silly idea. It's got a solid pun. There is some pretty cool factors to it.
That's always the best.
But Anthony is so good at filling in those lines in between those details.
I think
me not so much.
No, I think it's great. I think
I like turtles.
The trick is like I come up with like God Complex, and you're like, okay, this is gonna be a thing. It sounds like a thing, and you get the main idea. And as long as it's a surprisingly watchable idea, or like surprisingly consumable, the pun punches better somehow. It's like, oh, I'd actually watch that.
But see, like what I should have done is I should have staged it better. I should have been like, he brings a bird back to life, because his heart just brings it back to life. But then, he loses something outside and he can't do it. I should have tethered more ideas into it to like hint at it, and then
more in that pitch. That's what we're doing now.
I need some more stitches, man. But see, I suck at sewing, so
I just love how excited you get.
Yeah,
I try.
So cute.
Okay, I have a question. I have a question for you guys. I'm gonna go Tina. I have a question for you. I'm gonna do a brand new segment. I don't have a name for it. Let me think. Okay, hang on.
It needs a theme song.
Hang on, I need a theme song.
It's a brand new segment that Anthony just came up with. I don't even know the title of it, but I'm gonna keep on singing. It could be about tarot readings, but it's probably not, because we just talked about that. It's the new segment we have when we have issues, and it's directed right at Tina.
All right. So every once in a while we do this segment. This is not the first time. Steven has done that song, I don't know, a dozen times.
Every time.
He's never. I mean, I keep saying, like, Steven, we know what the segment is now. You should probably fix it. And he's like, stop telling me what to do. I'm like, you're right. You're right.
It's the original. You don't change an OG.
Yeah, you don't fix what's not broken. That's so. But we do this fun segment where we talk about hypothetical sequels. Okay, and this time I want to hit comedy. Tina, I want to know like a sequel to a comedy film that doesn't exist. Like, find a comedy that you love. What would you like to see a sequel of?
I would like to see a sequel of Step Brothers.
Nice.
Them like
that was one of my two. Nice.
Well, I mean, they were already grown up, but like,
I actually really like that though. What if like the sequel is just them going to college?
Yeah. And they're in their 50s now.
Like 50s. But like, like they're barely learning as they go. They're like, oh, now we're brothers who are getting along. Now we're going to college together. And then when they're like 80, they can film like their marriage, like they have a rom-com or something. But like, no, I love that. That was actually one of my two. I was gonna say Step Brothers. Steven, do you have any?
Billy Madison 2.
Tell me why I was just thinking about that as an afterthought.
It's weird because I thought you were gonna say that, so I was picking up on that energy prior to you saying Step Brothers.
We're right.
We're psychic, bro.
Oh, 100%.
I love shuffling our tarot cards, so
he is your tarot card. No, I love it. Okay, what do you think? What would Billy have to go back to school again? Would he like?
So
wow. Go ahead.
Interesting. I'm not sure. I feel like I would want like a a crazy situation where like Eric is like back and like wanting to like overthrow the business from within, and like Billy's running it somewhat successfully. Well, I'm getting there. So Billy, damn.
No, it's a prequel.
She's got this.
It's a prequel. Ooh. And it's all about Principal Anderson and his wrestling career.
No,
that's hilarious.
Can't take them from me.
No, that's amazing. I love that. I was thinking like the sequel to Billy Madison would be like he failed the company immediately and they fired him. So like he has to go to business school now. Like he's actually has to go.
1 week each degree. I'll do 1 week associates, 1 week bachelor, 1 week masters, 1 week doctorate. I'll come back and I'll run this.
I'll come back and I'll actually fix it. And then like he learns how, to run a company through trying to, actually go to college. My other one was Hot Rod. I thought Hot Rod would be really funny.
Dude, that's a good one.
So we showed our kids Hot Rod because we're like, because they call him Jake Peralta, but they love Andy Samberg on
that's Brooklyn, on Netflix too. And,
I love Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but like, so we showed them and they loved Hot Rod. I mean, they were all about it.
Chase actually asked to watch it again. Which Chase is
really?
Not a movie.
Chase doesn't join us for movie time.
She's not a movie watcher. She would prefer to just not be around us.
Cambria, Tina and I, we literally rewatched all of Twilight.
Yeah.
Like, well, we rewatched. She watched Twilight. Didn't, only tells us to pause it because she has to pee. Like she's like she's into that family time. Chase, unless she's vibing, she's doing her own thing, which is cool. I can relate to that. I would lone wolf a lot when I was a kid too. But like, Hot Rod would be an amazing sequel. What would the premise be, you think?
I mean, I feel like he has to be the father who needs a procedure of some sort, right? Like it has to be Andy Samberg, right? Like it has to be. He's like, I'm sick. Someone has to do the jump. But he can't find anyone to do it, and then he has to do it himself. Like
I'm gonna do the jump and kick my own ass.
And like I like the idea that like now he has a kid, and his kid has a mustache, but he still doesn't have a mustache.
Like his kid's like 13,
his kid's his kid's like a teenager, but like of course, like he'd have to fail the jump, and his kid like takes over, and it's just like tries to do the jump himself, and like learns his own thing somehow, But like I think that would be pretty fun. But no matter what, I would love to see those characters again.
Yeah, dude, that movie's hilarious. That movie did. Maybe it is properly rated, but like I feel like I don't know. I feel like Hot Rod was like really funny and like I forgotten about.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
it's a great movie.
Okay, guys. So every week we always end with what we're gonna do next. So, Stephen, what are you gonna do this week?
So as you can tell, I have got my man cave back in order. I've got my guitar amp fixed.
Ooh, nice.
The toilet is installed. So I'm ready. I'm like just kind of just like knocking the cobwebs off all this. So I'm ready to pour into the comic. I'm ready to do. I'm gonna, even though I am working overtime this week, it's not as bad. It's only an hour a day. Yeah. Still adds up, but I got this. So I'm gonna finalize that page. I'm gonna get an entire other page that you haven't even seen done.
Nice, dude. I can't freaking wait. Tina, what are you doing this week?
I am playing catch up at work from taking time off.
Do you have any cute friends who are playing Mustard, or like, are they hanging out? I'm kidding. I'm not dating. I'm joking. No, but that's how do you feel?
I mean, there's a lot of cuties at her salon. She's the cutest.
No one's.
I already got the cutest one, but yeah, there's probably not any.
No one's good enough for you, Anthony.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't think anyone's good enough for me either. That's why I'm going to keep doing me. We're going to make this movie. We're going to make comic books. It's going to be amazing. Actually, that's something I didn't talk about was this week. You know what I did? I went through the script and I fixed like, not a plot hole, but like a inconvenience where I was like, because I had the idea was that the character lived in a duplex, and the reason would be so you can park on the other side of the driveway. You know, because if you park your car on the other side of the driveway where the other people live, you're less suspicious. You know, like you can hide over there. And if it's a house and someone parks right in front of you, it's a little weird. You know, it's like, all right, how are you going to get away with this? So I was struggling with that for a minute, but I was like, oh, I can just like have characters talk about it for like half a second, and this will be fine. And I just did it. And I was just like, because it makes perfect sense. The characters are going to deliver a key. If she comes out suspicious of why they're in front of her house, they just deliver the key. You know, yeah. So I was like,
they just fulfill their mission.
Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, we just pulled in to give you this key like you requested. Like it's a really simple, like I fixed it so now instead of looking for
the bagels,
the key for the bagels. Well, yeah, he has to feed her. That's you know, so it's the way to the woman's heart, of course.
That's an awesome thing you did, but I just want to let you know that our ear pods died. The microphone's still working, but we're wrapping this episode.
I can still hear him.
You can?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Well, she
can't hear him?
No.
Oh God,
I have Tina, all the power.
You have so much power right now.
I have so much power.
And so let's record for another 3 hours because I like this.
Say the thank you part, and then I'm just gonna have to read his lips.
Okay.
And then I got this.
Okay. So Steven thinks I'm saying thank you, and I'm not. I'm gonna say thank you to anyone except for Tina. I love Tina so much. She's my favorite person ever. She's look at her. She's glowing. She's like the greatest friend I've ever had in my entire life. Like she's first best friend, Steven's second best friend. But thank you all. In addition to Tina, to a lesser extent though. But if you made it this far, thank you, and we love you. And I can't wait to see you again.
Yeah, and like I agree. Minotaurs aren't necessarily the best mythological beasts, but like they're pretty awesome. They're not as awesome as Tina is, though. Like you were saying, she's incredible. She is everything. She is the apple of my eye.
Favorite segment.
But beyond that, shy of my best friend who I do this with every week, and my wonderful wife who supports me every step of the way, and I guess the children. I love each and every one of you for tuning in every week, for buying every issue, and just supporting our dream through and through. You guys are incredible, and we're gonna have that colony one day. We're gonna have the ostriches.
I mean, we basically already have it. We just don't have the land, but we spiritually we have this going. Like we
spiritually have the colony. We just need the physical.
That's right.
We need the farmland and the battle birds. And I want to build an amphitheater, like a small amphitheater on our farmland, so we can, because we're all musicians, we can play shows.
Like, it'd be so nice,
fun, dude.
It's gonna happen.
That's like my dream.
If you do that, I really will. Yoko, just like
like literally Yoko,
yeah,
like the
Yoko,
like the yeah.
And can I just like shout out Sean really quick, because he was
Papa
amazing.
Sean.
He's so great.
I don't know how he got into my house.
I so much enjoyed that episode.
It was.
I really did. I love Sean.
Yeah, he's so great.
All of Don't Make It Weird.
Yeah, Don't Make It Weird.
I have a special place in my heart for all three of them.
Amen.
Absolutely.
But Papa Sean is amazing too.
Oh yeah. But thank you all for watching and making it this far and supporting us and everything that we do. Thank you, Tina and Steven. I love the heck out of you guys. You're amazing and wonderful, and we need to hang out as soon as possible. But yeah, you're all so great, and I hope you'll join us again next week. I'm Anthony.
I'm Stevie Wildcard.
And I'm Jen Zena.
This has been We Have Issues. See you next time.
And I know y'all missed this last week, and I got another one for you, but here is the live one. Boom! Yes.
I hear you loud and clear.
You hear us?
Great, by the way.
Oh, yeah, doesn't she look?
I was talking to you, Steven. You're like, I missed you so much. I'm kidding.
It's just, she has to look like this, and like I'm literally the definition of like all the sitcom husbands that have the hot wives that doesn't really make sense.
Did you get your hair trimmed? Is your hair different?
Me?
What is it? Is it just combed out different? Yeah, you. I don't know. Is it
him?
Him.
He did get a trim.
It's trimmed,
I did
right?
lose probably.
We took like 3-ish inches off.
3 is a lot.
It's a huge amount. It's significant, I hear. It makes all the difference in the world.
I just feel like, because like, I mean, in all honesty, there's no reason for me to be here. I know that.
I requested your presence, Tina. I was like, I need you on the show.
I just want to be included sometimes.
I love it.
I also want to like show face so that like no bitches get any ideas.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?